Like my coach always tells me, it's great to have a big vision, but if you have a big vision, you better have a big plan. That is, how are you going to make this happen? So what you need to do is take a look at your vision board and take a look at the type of life that you want to build, the lifestyle you want to have, and ask yourself a question. In order to live like this, what type of business do I need to create? What type of income do I need to generate? We create this business by using a one-page strategic plan. This is a strategic plan that you can use to run your business over the course of several years. Now, this one-page strategic plan was developed by John D. Rockefeller. He had lots of businesses to run. I think at one point it was over 100. And he needed an easy way to run those businesses. And for that, he developed this one-page strategic plan. And chances are, if it worked for John D. Rockefeller, it's going to work for you. And to create this plan, we operate in 3-year increments because anything shorter is too short and anything longer is too long. So the first step is to define the business you want to build over the next 3 years. So you can start to hit the objectives that you have on your vision board. And when I say define a business, this definition basically falls into 3 categories. The first is, what type of revenue do you need to generate to create the income that you're looking for? Most industries have a rule of thumb that gives you the ratio between the revenue a business generates and the discretionary earnings. That is, what percentage of the revenue of a business is available for the owner's personal use. This can be done as a paycheck, W-2 income, which is the most heavily taxed, distributions, healthcare payments, vehicle expenses, or any other write-offs that can be justified as legitimate business expenses. This ratio can vary as much as 10 to 40%, depending on the gross margins that the business runs at. And a good rule of thumb in a well-run construction company is anywhere between 15 to 20% of revenue as available discretionary earnings for the owner. So just as an example, if you're running $1 million construction company, you can be taking home anywhere between $150,000 to $200,000 a year as income. And if you scale that up to a $5 million construction company, if you run it well, that number can be as high as $1 million a year. The second category is the type of services you will provide. And a good idea is to take a look at your services that you don't provide today, but your clients actually need. Now, to add this service to your business, you could do it one of 2 ways. The first way is you could either try to develop this service from scratch, but that does take time. A great way to do this is through acquisitions, which is to buy an existing business that already provides the service, add that to your company, and now you can capture more of your client's dollar spend. And the third category is a projected organizational chart, which shows the structure of this business that you're trying to build. These are the different divisions in the business and the positions that are needed to run such an organization. Understanding that most of this does not exist today, and that is okay. This will start to create the outline of a business that will start to give you the life that you want. The next step is to take your 3-year plan and from that define specific 1-year goals. That is, if you want to be here in 3 years' time, what should your business be doing over the next 1 year? So let's say you start today. Mark a date a year out. And on that date, define the targets that your business should be hitting and define those targets in detail. So these targets are things like specific revenue numbers, your gross margins, average sale prices, services you need to add, employees you need to hire, SOPs or trainings you need to create, lines of credit that are needed, and then finally, the number of hours that need to be reduced for you, the owner. And then we take these 1-year goals and from that, create a 90-day action plan. That is, if I'm to hit these goals in 1 year's time, what should I be focused on over the next 90 days? This breaks up the 1-year plan into smaller goals, and these smaller goals become more achievable. And if the only thing that you're focused on is what you need to achieve over the next 90 days and nothing else, what happens to your chances of success? Yeah, they go up. However, if you set worthy goals, what you realize is that you're going to hit some and you're not going to hit others. That's just how life works. But the thing is, either one is fine. That doesn't actually matter. What matters is why. Why were you successful over here and not successful over here? And the answer to that question goes back to who? You, but more specifically, your mindset. Because there are certain parts of your mindset that are helping you, and there are other parts of your mindset that are getting in your way. So your job is to find out what that is. Because if you were to honestly answer a question, that is, who is the person that gets in your way the most? What would you say? If we're honest, it's obviously ourselves. We are the ones that get in our way the most. So if you learn to get out of your own way, what would happen to the rate at which you create success? Not only would it go up, it would go up exponentially. And this is what we find with our clients, that once you start executing a 90-day plan and start finding things out about yourself, you make progress. Then you use this information to create the next 90-day plan, and you start to find out more things about yourself. The goal is to line up enough of these 90-day action plans where the results aren't just 1 + 1 is 2, but 1 + 1 is 11. Your results start to go exponential. And then you'll start to wonder, where was this whole time? Because you'll create so many results in such short periods of time that you'll surprise even yourself.